Hello and welcome to Consolecowboys. So today we're going to go through this bag right here, which is my physical exploitation kit. This is the actual bag I take on site with me when I'm breaking into things. We're going to go through each item, why I put it in there, what I use it for, and all of that stuff. So first things first, if you haven't already, like the video and put a comment below because it's free and it helps with the YouTube algorithm. And let's get to it. So first things first is your bag itself. When you're picking a bag, make sure you get a bag where you can get to everything quickly. You know exactly where it is. It doesn't have a bunch of secret compartments where you can't find things. You don't want it disorganized because you need to be able to make decisions quickly and make it happen very quickly. So with this bag, I just have a couple little pockets on the outside. I have one interior part here and one main pouch and then just a little slip on the back. I know exactly where everything is, and that's important. So we'll start with right here on the back of the bag. I have this little clip. I usually wear this against my body so you can't see it, but we have our under the door tool. So when we're looking at doors, you can usually go over doors, you can go under doors, you can go around doors. So this one is going to be this little hook right here. We're going to slide this guy under the door, grab it, grab a handle, pull down, and open up a door. So when you're doing your remote recon and when you're doing your on-site recon, if you're seeing a lot of space under doors, you're going to want to have that one with you. And then let's go from the outside into the inside. So on the outside, I have quick things I want to grab while I'm walking. And that would be things like your traveler's hook, which you would use to slide behind the latch of a door that doesn't have a proper dead latch and pop it open. So we got that. And then we also have another little thinner tool that's similar to that. But if we can't get the traveler hook like through the hole in the door, this guy is really, really thin. We could put that through there and grab that. And I know a lot of people, they disregard some of these latch slipping techniques, but to be honest, most doors are incorrectly installed and they do work on them. So also in here related to bypasses, we have a little bypass kit. And this is just a bunch of little drivers to bypass things similar to the traveler's hook. So we have another little traveler's hook in here. We also have a little decoder for a lock that you can decode lock boxes and get in there and get a hold of access badges or keys or something that's in there. We have some bypass drivers for locks, for unshielded locks or for American locks. We have it for a storefront door where you can go through the keyhole and just turn the lock. It's a specific type of door you'll see. And then we also have another one for another specific type of door where we have a little hook. And you can slide that in between the latch and grab the mechanism and pull it open. And that way you can bypass that into the door. And so that's just a good little kit to have with you to bypass a whole bunch of different types of things. It's quite small, easy to carry. We also have another little decoder tool for bypassing the lock boxes. You saw me do that in an earlier video. And we have some lock picks in here. So I don't really pick locks on engagements, but in case I do need to pick a lock on engagement, I do have some kind of multi-tool in here to bypass various wafer locks and regular locks and some little rakes and stuff like that in there. So it's nice to have one of those in there. And then we also have this one right here. So this is something that I posted to LinkedIn and I asked people, hey, do you know what this is? So if we can't get underneath the door with the end of the door tool, we can't get over the door with something like some film and grab the latch and pull it from there. We can't get around the door with those traveler hooks. We got this guy here. If the hinges are incorrectly installed on the outside of the door, we can grab this guy, pop it, and pop the pins right out of the hinges and remove the door itself off of there. So that's another option for you. Also out here, we have some keys in here right here. So this key set here is nothing too fancy. We just have a couple keys in here that will open up cabinets inside of buildings. We'll open up the call boxes outside of buildings to just open the door. We just pop open the box, press a button, and get ourselves inside. And we also have some stuff for like various alarm systems where we can just undo those and mess with those as well. So just a simple little key ring for key-to-like systems, but nothing too crazy. I also carry a lanyard in here, along with a one for the belt. And I have a little holder and a I-class and a low frequency card in here in case I need to do some cloning. And the reason I'm going to wear one versus the other is when I'm on site, if I see people wearing them on their waist, I'm going to wear mine on waist. If I see people wearing them around the neck, I'm going to use it on the neck. So it's good to have both, and you're going to see that when you show up at the facility and you're watching people. Next up, I have one of these guys. So when you're inside a building and you're hearing a click as people are walking up towards the door, and you know you have a request to exit sensor, you can spray some CO2 with this using a straw or a flexible tubing through the cracks in the door, the double door seam, or under the door, over the door, etc., depending where these rec sensors are. And you can spray this to trigger that and open the door as if you were coming from the inside out, but you're going to do it from the outside by triggering it with CO2. So I got that in there. And then if we hop around to the inside of here, let's see. Open up here. I have a Proxmark. I usually leave this in my car, but I have it in my kit to make sure I don't forget it. But that's just for cloning badges once I get those, with a couple extra I-class and some low frequency cards in there. So I always have that Proxmark with me. And then I have these shimming tools. So if my traveler's hook reaching around the door is not working correctly because of the way the lock is, these guys can go straight in between the door and push it from the other side or push it from the front side. And these can also wrap around a tight seam on a door a little easier than a traveler hook will, and pop open those doors. And you will see a lot of doors that they look real secure, they have a tight seam, and then dead latch is not installed correctly. It just pops right open real quick. Next up, I have a flipper. And I know, everybody knows what a flipper is, and you can't use it on a real engagement is what they tell me. However, in real life, you actually can use it on an engagement. Nobody cares, and people may recognize it, but as long as you don't look sketchy, they're not going to say anything. And the reason you want to carry one of these guys is if you see something on a desk like a card, you can clone it really quick and might get you access to another part of the facility. If you grab a badge read somewhere, you can manually input those in here and use them. You can emulate it if you lost your cards or you forgot your cards or something of that nature. And you can also use it for brute forcing doors if you're there at night and maybe you need access to a higher security door and you don't care about making noise. So these guys are quite versatile. You can also use them for sub-gigahertz attacks if you have some kind of gate that's opening something and you need to grab that signal and open it. So it's a very good tool to have with you. So don't believe the hype saying that you can't use it in a real engagement. You absolutely can. I have and I do. I also have some random OMG cables. I honestly haven't used these. I threw them in here. I need to play with them. That's more for fun, so we can ignore that. On the back side of this bag, going along with going inside around doors, this is for going through the center of the door. So when you have those double doors and you're looking at, your Google Maps and you're seeing those glass double doors with the weather stripping in the middle, or inside you're seeing those double doors and you have some crash bars, you can slide this through the center of the door, turn it, hook that crash bar, and just open the door right up. I've used this quite effectively on higher security buildings that for some reason have glass doors with gaps in the center. And a lot of times they actually have cameras over them, but nobody's monitoring them. So you can just use this guy, open it right up, and walk right inside, and you're good to go after that. So inside my bag, we'll hop in the center. So you'll notice most of my bypass tools are really on the outside. So those are the things I'm going to quick hit and do as I'm breaking past doors. Now inside here we have our stealth reader. So you've seen me use this a lot. So we pop this on the door. We're doing some Recon. We see some HID readers on Google Maps. We know, okay, we have badge readers outside. Pop this guy on if there's no shared facility or no way to get inside and get a badge read outside. Or if we're doing some Recon on site, shared facility, and we walk inside, walk up to their door, we see they're using some low frequency readers, which we can test with this guy right here. We know that our thing's gonna work with this prox grind, or if we see it using high frequency only, it might work as well. Either way, we could pop this on the door and check it out. And then we have a little social engineering sign in here. This is just for tricking people into, using both badge readers, the real one and the fake one. So a little social engineering never hurts. And I have a couple extra batteries in here because these things tend to run out of batteries quite quickly with the low frequency antennas. So we got those for attacks on the RFID. And then in here, I have a little screwdriver for, opening up that RFID stealth reader. And then we have a little kit here. Now this, we're not running red team, so we're not doing anything on a sophisticated implants. But sometimes we need to prove we got into a room when we're able to install something, get out unseen. So I just have a couple little Hack 5 things and a little cable. I always bring my own cable in case there's not an extra one there. I need to do something with it. And install one of these guys and let the client know he can go grab it. And if it gets out, it gets out. If it doesn't get out, no big deal. It just proved that we can get in there and plug in anything. That could be ransomware. That could be some kind of sophisticated thing, calling more out on cell phones, etc. Doesn't really matter. It's kind of a proof of concept. Next up, so let's say we are doing our under the door tool, or we're doing our between the door tool. We don't quite have enough space. So we can pop this guy in between the door, pump it up, and this will create a little bit more space for us to get our tools in there and then bypass those. So that's a good thing to have, a little inflatable wedge. Now going along right with that inflatable wedge, I should have a crowbar in here, and I do. I have a little mini crowbar. So if we had a tight seal and I couldn't get that wedge in there, but I can get this guy in there, I would pop that in there, create a little more space, grab my wedge, slide that in there, pump it up, and then use my tool. So it's like another layer of just getting your tools in there to do a simple, easy bypass. And then I also have another bigger gym tool in there in case I needed, a little more space when I'm doing something or a little more leverage on it. And then we also have this guy right here. So we were talking about storefronts before, those glass storefront doors and bypassing latches and stuff. Well, some of those storefront doors you'll see have the little turny thing. And you can see those on Google Maps a lot of times, exactly what type of door you're dealing with. I may or may not take this with me. It really depends what type of place I'm breaking into, but you see this, I can turn this, stick it through the door, turn it, start turning this, and I can open up those little thumb locks where you just open it right up like that. Not as useful to me when I'm on my engagements because I don't typically attack storefronts, but sometimes you still do see these locks, and you can bring it with you, leave it in your car if you don't need it. And that's it for this bag. So here's the thing. This is what I'm typically bringing on an engagement, but a lot of it comes down to if I'm doing remote recon on Google Maps, I can see they're using double doors and there's a gap in between. I can see there's badge readers out there on the outside. I can see what type of badge readers those are based on how they look. And I know I can use my stealth reader. I can see, spaces under doors. I can sometimes even see a dead latch in a door that's not like properly seated right from Google Maps. Or if I'm looking at, sites where they're selling buildings or leasing buildings, they'll have interior pictures that'll show me all of this too. So based on what I'm seeing, I might add more tools to this. I might remove tools from it. And then I'm going on site with exactly what I need and a couple just default things that usually work on everything. And then I'm going in and attacking. And I'm getting in and I'm getting out and utilizing the tool sets that I need based on my recon. Because about 50% of your engagement for physical is going to be recon, figuring out how to get in and out. Because once you get up to those doors and you're breaking in, you want to know exactly what you're doing, exactly where your tools are to get in and out. So I hope this video was helpful to you, like just kind of seeing what I bring with me and why. And catch you later.